Hello, everybody, and welcome back to MJ Games. I am Michael, and today I'm really excited for this park tour as we are looking at Hollow Peaks, which was created by Teejaypuffs 92 and Tommy Leeds 23, or as a lot of you probably know him from whether it's Discord or YouTube, Tommy P. Um, and I have them both here with me today, joining me on this park tour. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yep, me
Doing pretty
too,
good.
thank you.
Yeah, so I know you guys kept this park a secret for a while in terms of your collab until about a couple months ago. So how long did this park take you guys to work on?
I kind of checked earlier, and we started, I think, at the beginning of July, kind
Okay.
of around there. So maybe the 3.5 months,
Okay.
4. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know you guys kept it secret for a while and kind of surprised us on the Discord and stuff talking about it. And as you can kind of see, just doing the overview now, I mean, I remember with Avery Forest, we wanted to make it feel like a forest, and you guys did the same thing here, with just capturing the real kind of tropical vibe here, along with the foresty vibe on the other side. Um, and so, if you would, kind of before we get started, I just kind of want to know what kind of sparked this collab that you guys had, and how did you guys kind of come up with a theme and a design?
I mean, I reached out to Tommy, I think, after the second contest about creating a park, and we decided to go with a campground kind style.
Okay.
Uh, with a mixture of like a national park. Would you say that's about right, Tommy?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of chopping and changing. We wanted to kind of go for a swampy feel on one side and forest, but it kind of turned to more of a forest jungly. But,
Right.
and got that national park kind of feel to it. But yeah, I think it works for what it is, and they're quite distinct areas, like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, I'm ready to get this tour started. So let's get started at the entrance. All right, so now we are entering the park through the guest entrance, and I gotta say, I've seen some people do this on like PC versions, but I haven't seen this that often on console, and it looks amazing having the guests kind of looking like they're coming out of a subway, right? And this little pergola type building it just looks awesome. So that's a very unique entryway that you guys kind of came up with and designed.
Thank you. I will admit, Plip gave me the idea with his collab with
Oh yeah.
Zombie. Yeah, because I think he did something similar.
Yeah, he did. So that's really cool, and I like the color of wood you chose too. Because sometimes I don't know about you guys, but I feel like sometimes with the some of the wooden beams and stuff, it can kind of like you click on like the brown color, and it's kind of hard to find like a really good brown color sometimes to use. You got to kind of fiddle with it. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, then you've got
Yeah,
this. Well,
yeah.
let's actually start over here because since this is technically the entrance that the cars would come into the park. Oh, we got even a tunnel over this way. I love the waterfall. So,
Thank you.
oh, look at that. Oasis Falls, Lakewood Lodge, Avery Forest, Buccaneer Bay, Fantasy Falls, and Bikini Bottom. I like that. So, these are all in the same universe. It's good to know. And Lakewood Lodge, that was yours, Tommy, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Still
that's
not
a
finished.
that's definitely a park that's on my list to look on. And I think TJ, you've worked on Bikini Bottom some too, haven't you?
A little bit. There is a lot that I've kind of done since the mini park, but it's nowhere near finished. And now that I know this Oswald hack, I'll probably use it for that too.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, so we'll talk about that near the end. But I just love this entryway. Like you guys really captured the vibe of making it feel like you said national park like with it's kind of overgrown with bushes, but it's not repetitive, you know, like it looks unique and it looks like how to me it would when you're actually out in the wild. So this is really really well done. I love this entry building here too.
Thank you.
That was Tommy.
Yeah, good job, Tommy. So, and you just use those rectangular pieces, right? Or no, I guess is it screens for the to make it look like words right there?
Yeah, it's the mini square centerpiece kind of turned on its side, so you'll probably
Okay.
see at the back side of the wall. They'll stick out a little bit, but it
Right.
does the job.
Yeah, for sure. I always forget how to, some of those little tricks. And then I think I saw this in your other park too, Tommy, right? Where you use this to make it look like a computer screen. You use the sci-fi monitor and stuff. And so it makes it look like it's a computer screen with a keyboard and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think
So,
it's out the studio pack, so
yeah. Well, it looks fantastic. And so now let's enter the park or enter the. Oh, I like too how you have this park ranger right there. That's a really cool touch.
thank you.
So, how'd you guys come up with the name for the park?
Hmm. We did that like the last week of working on it. I think the last few weeks. We went through a dozen names. I don't know
Yeah.
how we ended up picking it. Honestly,
Yeah, I love these little bus stop things too, by the way. But yeah, I'm awful at naming stuff. Like even just naming coasters, I can never come up with names. And I told you this, TJ, before we got started, but when I was showing this park to Jasmine yesterday, she loved this little centerpiece here and what you did with the kind of the foliage and stuff. So really, really well done.
yes, thank you.
And is that just I guess that's just the temple pieces around the edge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those pieces are so versatile. And
They're probably the most used pieces that I use most.
And I think this is something too. I know Maddie did a little, like he didn't necessarily build a camp, but he kind of built something around the lake on his Eden Gardens. But this is something too that's just a really cool touch that I feel like we don't see too often, where you're building this kind of campground site. And so it's just a cool touch to kind of add to a theme park, you know.
Again, that
So
was
yeah,
Tommy.
yeah, really good job, Tommy. And then
Thank you. Yeah, just a space filler more than anything, really, just to bulk out that bit of area.
It's got a
yeah,
good viewpoint there at the campfire too.
okay. Oh yeah, looking at the dive coaster and yeah,
You
that's
can
really
see all
cool.
three of them there.
Mm-hmm. And so, did you guys, when you were building this park, because as you guys can see, or viewers can see from kind of the intro video, it's kind of divided into two sections on the left and right side a little bit. So, did you guys kind of split up in terms of one of you guys make the area and the coasters on the left and then the other on the right, or did you both kind of work in both areas?
We both worked on both areas.
Okay.
Yeah, we
This is
did
a
at
great
least.
sign, by the way. Oh, my bad. Sorry to
Thank
interrupt
you.
you.
No, you're all good. Yeah, we each did at least a coaster or two, a main ride, two main rides in each area. So
Okay.
yeah.
And we just crossed over the bridge. This is the coolest bridge I've seen on. I know we say this a lot, but it's like, PC version's like 4 years ahead of us in terms of how many years they've been working on creating stuff, right?
Hmm.
But this really is like the coolest bridge I've seen on console, or I mean, one of the coolest ones I've seen in general. But just how you guys created this with the kind of style and uniqueness of it looks awesome.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
think
it
I
was all
pulled.
TJ.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
I think I pulled just an image from Google and kind of tried to mimic it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it looks great. And then you've got this parking lot over here, which I love seeing because I love the realism behind it. And you're able to manipulate the terrain to kind of work with it to where you could still create a bridge, which I think is really impressive because the terrain is, I feel like the terrain tool is probably the worst thing in the game or the toughest thing to maybe, kind of get used to using, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tricky to get that the way we wanted, so I didn't mess up the water.
Mm-hmm.
Because the water is pretty much that water's all connected
Right.
from there all the way to the jungle side.
Yeah, that's impressive. All right, so let's go ahead and enter the park. We've got another pergola here, which when you're in the parking lot, you just get good views. Like that's an awesome look of that wooden coaster there, and you see the other little snippets of those other coasters, and then the dive coaster, which I think the dive coasters always give a good sight line because they're usually pretty tall. So,
Hmm. Yeah,
um,
Tommy
Definitely.
did this uh, this overlay area. this middle.
Yeah, looks
Yeah.
good. And Tommy, I like how you mixed up the plants too, because I think sometimes I get in the habit of using the same plant too often, or um, thinking too much about it instead of just kind of varying it up, and it really works. So I think it looks great.
Thank you.
And now one thing too that I thought was cool you guys did with your park is I don't think you guys have any normal paths in the park, right? It's all supposed to be this kind of um, grass, or I guess the terrain, whatever terrain's there, it kind of takes on that look, right?
On the wood side, yeah, there's
Okay.
on the jungle side there's actual pathing, but yeah, I tried to keep it as natural as we could.
Yeah, for sure. I really like that touch. All right, guys, what do you think? Should we go to the haunted wood first or cursed jungle?
I'd say that's up to you. What do you want to see first?
Ooh, let's go. Normally I go left, but let's go right just to vary it up this time.
And I do
Um,
want to say, like, when you do cross these little entryways, I was telling Tommy I like that you immediately get the jungle feel, or
mm-hmm.
like when you on the other side you get the woods feel.
Yeah. I said tropical earlier. This it's not necessarily tropical, but yeah, I think jungle was more the word I was looking for in describing it. Um, but yeah, I think that's totally that makes a lot of sense, and I definitely got that vibe now because then you see this volcano here, and or I guess fabricated volcano, right?
Hmm.
But man, it looks awesome, and
The best we could do.
yeah. Well, I didn't mean I just meant the fact that it's not an actual volcano, right? Like you got a coaster in it, but it's made to look like it's a volcano. Um,
Yeah.
and I mentioned this to Tommy the other day, TJ, and he said this was you. This is like one of the coolest, unique ideas I've ever seen for a coaster support.
Oh,
Like,
I mean, I totally took from Mad Catter when he did it for the rival
oh,
contest.
that's right. I forgot about that. My bad, Mad Catter, if you're
Yeah.
watching this. I totally forgot. But either way, it's well, Mad Catter, that was the coolest, one of the coolest ways I've ever seen coaster support. um, but yeah, so let's go. Oh, you got signs. So let's go to Scorpio in the ruins. How about that?
Sounds good.
Yeah. So is there any other information as we're kind of looking around this area, or anything that you want people who are watching this to know?
Uh,
Um, I mean, this coaster was a last minute thing for TJ. There used to be a hotel that stood on this ground,
Okay.
but we decided to knock that down, and TJ got a bit bored of placing plants and stuff and wanted to build another coaster. So he came up with this, and then I thought, well, if he's building another one, I'll build one on the other side, which you'll see later.
hmm
Yeah. Hey, I don't. I'm all about building more coasters. I think Maddie said to me multiple times on different parks, like, "Hey, I think your park's got enough coasters, but I still build them." So we got a
Never enough.
SLV. Oh, I know, right? Well, that's where in America. I mean, it's like you go to these theme parks and there's like 20 coasters. So, um,
Exactly.
yeah.
And
So look at
if,
this. Go
sorry,
ahead.
if you've ever been to Busch Gardens in Florida, you might recognize that this is kind of a similar layout to Scorpion
Okay.
and their
I have
little kid
not.
area.
I have not, but I have watched a POV of it. And so, as you guys saw the stats, everything looks good. So let's go ahead and ride the coaster. All right, so that was the coaster, and I decided to do a nighttime POV because TJ mentioned that if we're going to ride it at night, to ride in the back, and so you got to kind of see how well it's lit up, and a lot of the kind of just really jungle type vibe with it. And so, TJ, can you explain just kind of a little bit about this coaster? Did you get inspiration from anywhere, and kind of how you went about building it?
Yeah, I pretty much got inspiration from the coaster Scorpion at Busch Gardens, Tampa. It's pretty much a very similar layout except for the end, and there it's not themed at all, and so I thought I'd spice it up a bit with all
Yeah.
the foliage and stuff. And definitely, I think the lights help make it pop.
For sure. Well, and it's not just using one style of lighting. Like you use multiple colors. Like I think up there on the lift hill, right? You got two different kind of colors, and so it really looks like you. I mean, obviously you put a lot of time into it, so that's a really well done.
Thank you.
And while we're at nighttime, just kind of get an overview of this area at night. Because I know sometimes I kind of forget to look at stuff at night. So just remind me, guys, if anything, if I need to kind of look at nighttime. But everything looks, consistently lit up. And oh, I didn't realize that's actually going to explode in the background. So
Hmm.
that's pretty cool. Um, yeah. So let me get back to daytime real quick. But that is cool though how you guys split up which by the way, this is really cool using the temple pieces right here and whatever these those like those mushroom lamps. Oh, that's a cool touch. And I just love how this one looks in the game, this flat ride.
Thank you. Well, I guess I don't really have any contribution to that, but
Is that you, Tommy, that did that?
oh, actually, I did that,
Oh,
but
you were talking about how the ride looks in the game.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say is I like how you guys did. You guys didn't just like split up an area for each person to do. It was a team effort or collaborative effort on both sides of the park, which I think is a cool touch. And once again, that really cool statue. So,
Tommy did that shops you just looked at.
oh yeah, it's well done.
I'm just surprised how because the shop venue was put in before the coaster, so he's
Hmm.
worked his coaster around the terrain and the rocks that the shops were already in. So quite impressive, really.
Oh, for sure. So you had this here before the coaster. That's impressive.
Yeah,
Hmm.
All the rocks and everything too.
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. And then obviously this is the exit, which I love the style of ruins for the coaster. Because initially when you see a coaster kind of without like a overhead station, you kind of maybe have that thought of like, oh, well, why didn't they make a station? But then when you kind of look at it, it's like, oh, that makes sense. It's intentionally not made and looks really cool.
Yeah, I did that because since we were going on the last bit of percent, I kind of did it for piece count.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it fits for that ride for sure. Um, I guess just in real life, they got to hope it doesn't rain, right? So Scorpio, is this you, Tommy, that made this one, or is this
TJ
TJ?
again.
TJ
This is
again.
me.
Okay.
I did other than the shops. I think I did most of this area.
Okay.
So I did the station, the coaster, a lot of the foliage.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, this is really well done. I mean, really detailed, and I just love the temple kind of style and area. So I guess that's the exit, right?
Yeah.
So that was
The
the entrance on the other side?
yeah.
Oh, I missed the entrance. Okay. Well, ride photos. Okay. Nice little touch. Yeah, I'm probably gonna get lost in this park at some point, so I apologize. And love the
It's
station.
okay.
What did you use for
Thank
the
you.
letters?
The temple
Oh,
pieces,
hold on. What happened? There we go. Okay.
they're they're not temple pieces. They're I
Oh,
think
that's
it's the statue mouths.
okay. Yeah, I forget when you're at the limit, it doesn't actually let you click on an individual piece, which
Uh,
doesn't make sense. Because like if you try to click on an individual piece, what you have to do is so like that thing, it will let me it won't let me actually move it, right? Because it's attached to a larger building. So you kind of have to like split stuff from building, then you can move pieces. So it's kind of tedious, but it
Yeah.
is what it is. So that's, yeah, I mean, such an amazing temple building.
Thank
Let's
you.
go. Yeah, I mean, I'm really impressed with everything you guys are able to do, and like TJ, your details that you have on your builds are extremely impressive.
Thank you.
So let's
It's
see.
stressful. It's stressful to do. Like I waited to the last minute to do this building.
Yeah. Well, it is amazing though, kind of in building this. It's like, now, I mean, I'm not good at building this kind of stuff yet. Hopefully, I will be at some point. But it's like stuff just always kind of seems to come together, right? Like I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm gonna do to theme this coaster or this area, and then it just kind of ends up working out. But this is one of the coolest stations I've seen. This is awesome.
Thank you. Wait until you see the other for the dive coaster.
Okay. So this is a launch vector. Let's look at the stats before we go on the coaster. So G forces, yeah. So
It's
biggest
kind of
drop for,
high.
yeah, vertical a little bit, but it's a video game, right? And that's the thing is, it's like everybody makes it for different purposes. Like, are you trying to have absolute realism? Are you trying to just build a cool coaster? Are you trying to have like the whole theming environment? And that's what makes this game great. All right, 83 miles per hour. This is gonna be awesome. So let's take a ride on the coaster. So we just got off Scorpion, and I mean, that's fantastic, TJ. These, let's see if we can beat the car down here. These triggers are just insane. Like, like I know you mentioned that,
Yeah.
Tommy, and I think like the first, because we rode this twice, and the first time, obviously, like I knew they're great, but then like Tommy, when you mentioned it again, it's like then it really made me realize like you got at least four or five different triggers going that do not touch the coaster car at all. So that is impressive, dude.
Thank you. It took a while, but
Yeah.
we got it done. So
Yeah. Fantastic coaster.
there are a
And
few notes to check out within the
okay.
coaster. After the first launch,
Okay. So let's just
if you go up and down into the little cave area,
okay.
I added this temple hall.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Kind of hard to see it while you're on the coaster, but
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things that's like it's not needed, right? Because you're going through it so fast, but it just kind of adds that extra realism and that extra kind of just authenticity to the that's the word I was looking for, authenticity to the coaster.
mhm.
So, yeah, I think
And then sorry, the cave right before the loop to your
cave right
left, yeah, that loop there.
okay.
The cave right before it, there's stuff in there.
Oh yeah, scorpions. And those are massive scorpions, so scorpions are pretty creepy in real life. I don't know. Just the
Hmm.
fact that little whatever's on their tail that stings you.
I
And
mean,
then, oh, go ahead.
so like the last minute thoughts was on that second launch where TJ put a bit of realism with. See this kind of like path on your right hand side now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you follow that path down, there's a bit of a maintenance area, which I thought was a nice touch that he showed me at a later date after he built the coaster. This bit here.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yes.
That's great. And, this is some of the stuff I love in the game is doing these maintenance areas. So that's a really, really cool touch. And I like how because I noticed this when I was at like Kings Island and stuff is I think sometimes I feel like every maintenance area has to have like a path to it, right? In terms of
Hmm.
like has to have an actual road. And like for instance, when you're on Diamondback, you can notice how there's like gravel roads going everywhere, but there's not actually a lot of pavement, right? And so it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be a tarmac path. It could just be kind of a worn down looking path that could kind of access some kind of maintenance area, which is what you did there, which is really well done. Oh, that's a cool view. Yeah, that's a cool view. So let's see. Yeah, so we got some really cool kind of piratey stalls here. And so
That's Tommy.
yeah, it's
This
a
is
nice
Tommy.
touch, Tommy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's just cool though how you guys were able to kind of work together and combine everything and then here's the
Yeah.
dive coaster. So have you guys been on any of these in real life?
I have.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
couple.
Yeah, I just rode one once and it was the Griffin, the one in Williamsburg, Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, and I remember it being like really cool, but it's also like they're so short normally,
Hmm.
and they kind of go. It seems to me they go like so smooth through the elements that they're not like super intense, other than that first
Yeah.
kind of hanging drop. Um,
Mm.
but they all look really cool. But yeah, this was you, right, Tommy?
The coaster was me, correct?
Yeah, and then the sign is Mavs Fan 4. Like
Yeah.
Yep.
that's Taipan. I don't know why I said Taipan. Taipan. Yeah, it's amazing what him and Boz are able to do with making their signs. I don't know how in the world they come up with that because
Mm.
it's crazy. So is
Yeah.
this the direction I go, Tommy, to get there?
Yeah, it's that building right in front of you.
Okay.
It's the station for the dive
All right.
coaster.
And I love you got a little bit of elevation changes too, which is nice. Okay, so here's the coaster entrance. And I just love too all the path interaction on this coaster. The other one too. So good job kind of intertwining it. So did you, Tommy, when you made this coaster, did you have the path here already, or did the coaster get made first and everything else was kind of around it?
I mean, there was a little bit of path, but I think it was the first coaster built in this area, if I'm right. I did a bit of a shopping area that the coaster goes over. I
Right.
built, I think I built the coaster and then I built the shops over the top of it, underneath it, sorry. And then it just went from there. TJ did the station and did the queue path, I think, but Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think my coaster was put in, and then he put in his coaster,
Oh,
and those
yeah,
shots.
sorry, yeah.
Oh my gosh, this station, TJ, this is insane. Um, this is incredible. I thought the last station was good, and like you said, wait for this one, right?
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, so I mean, how do you like? I guess when you're designing these stations, so how did you come up with this concept and idea for it?
I kind of wing it, to be completely honest, because anytime I've tried to look up temples or ruins, it it doesn't really give me much to work with, to be
Right.
honest. So, I mean, I take inspiration from PC users or just, I don't know. It's kind of random.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool, kind of putting that at the top and stuff. And so let's look at the stats before we ride the coaster. Yep, so everything awesome. So 55 meters, so getting close to 200 feet. And let's go ahead and take a ride on the coaster. So we just got off the dive coaster, and I mean, that's a very, very impressive coaster, guys. So the layout's awesome. Love all the interactions, and it seems to be a little bit longer than some of the traditional dive coasters. So I like that aspect of it.
Yeah, it was. I knew I wanted to add a second dive into it, but I wanted it
Hmm.
to be look smaller than the first dive, but actually be bigger than the first dive because it goes underground. So extended the track out a little bit more just to kind of get that second dive in that swoops underground and keep the G low.
For sure. Well, and I love the fact too that it's kind of hidden on this hill, right? Like you don't see it with the supports and stuff, and so you built the terrain to kind of hide it, and obviously the temple pieces and stuff. And this down here is really something else. So, like I was not expecting this, so that is impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That was me. That was early on in the build, I think.
yeah. Well, and then also how obviously this is not an area where guests are walking. I don't think there's a path there, but you kind of blended it in with the temple wall piece
Yeah,
to kind of make it look, in theory, like the guests could walk over here. So I really
correct.
like that
Yeah.
aspect of it. And it's one thing I hate with this sometimes is the blending that you have right there, right? Um,
Yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when it's like you see something that just looks great, and it's like, oh man. Um, yeah, and then the zero G roll at the end um, over those shops is really nice. And back here, I don't want to miss the areas that I love the most, the stuff that the guests never interact with, right? Um, love the ride photos. It's funny, as I mentioned to Jasmine before, like about transfer track stuff, and she's just like, "Why do you do that? The guests don't." It has no effect, but I don't know. It's just something cool to do. Oh, that's kind of cool, kind of take on it. So, did you do this, Tommy?
TJ.
TJ. Yeah, that's really well done, TJ. And I like too how, because of how big the temple pieces are, you're able to put a whole nother station in, and you just kind of you're able to hide it,
Hmm.
and so that looks good, really good. So you got that
Yeah.
coaster car in there,
It was
really well
before
done.
Tommy made his custom one, or else we probably would have used that.
Have you made a custom dive one before, Tommy?
I have. I made it a couple of days ago.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
It looks
Which
good.
have you posted any of those on the workshop or anything?
Not yet. I'm going to try and get a bit of a collection and then post them all in one go, but have them all
Oh,
separate so people can pick and choose which one they want to use if they want to use.
that's awesome. So you've heard it here that at some point in the future, Tommy Leeds 23 is the name on Frontier Workshop. Will post a collection of custom coaster cars for your transfer tracks, which I mean, it's amazing. Which, by the way, did I not show that on the previous one? I think I forgot to show that. I really apologize.
It's all right.
So on the previous coaster, here is the custom coaster for the transfer track that Tommy made. And I've seen this in your other park too. And this is, I mean, it looks great. I mean, it really matches the model of the coaster well.
Hmm.
So really, really impressive. And it's a lot of pieces too.
I found a better way of getting the restraints. The Ghostbuster backpack that you get in Ghostbuster Pack.
Oh,
Sinking
really?
that in.
Okay.
Sinking that in, it has the correct kind of restraints. So I've started to use them a little bit as well, but it does the job at a glance. So
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's really really cool, really well done. So I apologize that I missed that before.
it's okay.
And we got this flat ride, making it look like it's like a runway strip, which is nice.
Yeah, I think the idea was because this is a jungle, this is the only airport in the jungle, and then at the back side of it, you have that pirate kind of village on your left hand side.
Mm-hmm.
So it lands here, and then you've got your village and the train. You'd catch a train up into the jungle like a jungle express kind of thing.
Hmm.
So that was
Okay.
the idea, anyways. But
Yeah. Well, it looks great. Let's see. Let's go back because we didn't talk about this tunnel because I know you mentioned this, TJ, when we were on the coaster about there being this kind of dugout tunnel. Which, oh, there's a ride in here. Oh,
Yeah.
this
yeah,
is
this was a last minute thing as well.
Hmm.
yeah.
I would have done more if we had more room. I would have put a lot more rocks.
Yeah. But see, what's amazing to me is like, so like the detail you guys put in, it's amazing. And maybe some of it's because it's not like as condensed as like when NH makes a park, right? Like his detail is so condensed to such a small space that maybe
Yeah,
that's why it kind of causes game to crash and stuff. But
Mm.
like you have so much detail as well. But I mean, this is running perfectly through share play, and y'all are over 100% on the PS5. Um, so it's annoying that we can't like build past the limit, right? Which this is awesome. How it's like a
yeah.
volcano
Thank you.
erupting. Wow. I think I've probably said this is awesome a ton already, and I will continue to say it. But this is a really, really well done park, and then nice little kind of tunnel area, or I guess not tunnel, cave. So good job.
Thank you.
Now let me ask you this: should we go to the log flume next, or do we want to? I guess do we take the
Probably.
train up in the jungle, or how do you want me to do that?
I'd probably check the log flume, and then you can take the train over to to the wood
woods.
side if you wanted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great idea. So let's
So-
see.
And before you go to the log flume, you want to look to the right at the pendulum. Right, Tommy
Okay.
did that there.
Oh. Yeah, so how did you... Okay, so I don't know, Tom, if you saw the tour that I did last week of a park called Aztecia, and it was the creator's first park, and he did something very similar to this with his with this ride, and so it looks really cool.
Yeah, I saw that. I think it was last week that posted, or the week before.
Yeah,
And I'd seen that he'd done something very similar. But
yeah.
you know, I think it works.
Oh, for sure. And are those just the well, I guess never mind. I clicked on the whole thing.
Just the cogs and just jungle pieces.
Yeah, and then I love the fencing too that you put around here, and this detail for the sticks that are on fire and stuff is just really well done. So this is
With the skulls. I like the skulls. It's a nice touch.
yeah, for sure. Really, really well done. It's amazing too that you guys did all this, even though you did use the exploit in the PS5 limit. Oh, I didn't even notice how you did this this part here. That's really well done. Kind of
Thank you.
protecting the guest. So that's a interesting take on how to do a protective fence like that. So we got Gator Falls. And so I'm going to leave it recording on this one just because we can just kind of talk through it. Wow, that TJ, you make all these. I'm guessing, TJ, did you make this sign?
Yeah, I did the archway there.
How did you guess?
It's so majestic. Like it's so large and majestic. It's crazy.
Try
Wow.
not to say that's what she said.
I know. Where's Maddie when you need him, right? Making some kind of joke. I actually pointed out in one of Maddie's videos the other day a joke that he made, or he said something, and I pointed out to him, and because usually he's the one that points it out to everybody else. So, yeah, really, and this station kind of reminds me a little bit of, I mean, different building pieces, but kind of what you did with it reminds me a little bit of what Corey did in his River Rapids ride with in Avery Forest, where it's not like overly done, right? Like it's just enough. You've got like the weeds kind of hanging off of it and stuff. So, is this better at night or day?
I mean, it looks good at both, but I wouldn't ride it twice.
Okay, yeah.
Probably leave it a day if you want, and you can do it in 2 time for the purpose of this if you want.
Okay, let's see. Let's get a different view. Find the correct train to begin with. Okay, this one right here.
I do look forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Times 2 speed for these rides are good.
So Tommy did the flume, and he did some of the theming around. I did the temple on top of the hill.
Okay. That's who did all the foliage?
Yeah,
kind of-
split really.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
the waterfall side of it towards the back end, which we can view after if you want, and
Okay.
a bit of the foliage. TJ mainly did the kind of queue path foliage and stuff, so...
Yeah. So no, placing this much foliage can get so tedious.
Oh,
It's
yes.
why, yeah, it's why I really haven't finished any other park. I stop because I get annoyed.
Yeah. I mean that's true.
Now this is actually where I used Jasmine's idea for the park that you guys did.
The gator
Or I think
eggs.
it was,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was her
Sweetheart
water
Lane.
Park.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
No, not Sweetheart Lane. It's her water park. You're right. I'm totally wrong on that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean I mean the way you incorporate that is really nice too. I'm gonna have to make sure and show her that.
yeah. Just
'Cause
give
that's
her
really
a little
well done.
shout out.
Yep. I mean Jasmine does a great job with a lot of her like foliage work and how she themes up stuff. So a lot better than me.
I mean, you're learning from her though, so
Yeah, that's true.
that
That's true.
that's the plus of being with somebody. You can both play the game, and
Yep. Oh, sorry, my bad. I was kind of trying to slow it down just a little bit. The hippos.
So this foliage here on the right on the hill, Tommy did a lot of that.
Okay. Oh, I like the touch of having the plane that looked like it crashed.
Thank you.
And
I
you
don't know about
did
you.
this
Oh, go
most of
ahead.
this too, didn't you, Tommy?
Yeah, it was this bit on the left that I did with the rocks and then the big waterfall. That was like the first thing that I did, like just messing around. I was like, oh, actually, this works. And then kind of went from
Yeah.
there, didn't we?
I don't know about you guys, but it seems like sometimes, like when I'm placing a lot of trees or doing certain things, like I look at it, I'm like, this doesn't look good. But I mean, I think it's like you just kind of know what it was like before and how you're using a lot of the same stuff. But then it's like when
Mm-hmm.
somebody else sees it, it looks phenomenal, right? Or not necessarily, but like it looks natural, if that, I guess is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say. But yeah, this is,
Yeah.
I mean, that is, I guess if anything looks super majestic like that, it was probably TJ who made it, right?
The temple, but Tommy
Yeah.
did most of that foliage and the waterfall.
Yeah.
I just put the temple on top.
Oh, my bad. I thought I missed. Oh, okay. My bad, Tommy. I misheard what TJ said about. I thought he said he did the waterfall as well. But that is really well done, and it's cool too that both you guys kind of collaborated on this part of it too.
Is there any
Mm.
chance we could just have a look at this bit at night?
Absolutely.
I think it pops quite a lot at night.
Let's go over
It's
Yeah,
not
there.
I added
over.
Mm-hmm.
some night light in there.
Yeah. Let's go looking over in this space.
So Tommy did the huge waterfall. I
Mm-hmm.
did the little waterfalls coming from.
I think it's on. Is it over here?
Yeah, I did those little waterfalls there.
Okay. Well, and what's really impressive too is how you guys were able to have all these different layers of the water, right? Like, I mean, that looks
Hmm.
realistic, and then it's like that drops down to there, which drops down to there, which drops down to the initial water. And then even over here, like one thing I noticed that's really cool when you're right here is how much that kind of sticks out, right? Um,
Hmm.
and it just, if y'all get what I'm saying, where it's like it's not like a flat piece of terrain and wall, all the foliage and stuff kind of helps it seem more natural, and then you obviously drop down to this massive lake or river area. So it's really cool. One of the best log flumes I've seen with all the theming and stuff around it. So let's look at
Thank you.
this. Look at this
Thank you.
temple. So I know you
It'd
said
probably look it'd probably look better at day. I didn't really
okay,
do a whole lot of night lighting, unless
yeah. Let's see. Let's go back to 12. Yeah. So this was what you were saying, TJ, about what Jasmine put in her park. That you took this, used this idea and concept.
Hmm.
So giving Jasmine the shout out.
Yes, thank you,
And
Jasmine. Hmm.
well, I like too how so is this kind of meant to be like the alligators are kind of coming in through this opening essentially.
Yeah,
Okay, so that was
yeah.
purposeful. Yeah, that's kind of a cool touch. Um, really well done. So now you said to take the train over to the other side, right?
Yeah, I think that's.
Hey, did I miss anything while we're over here? Or
No, I think we
I
covered everything. To be honest.
yeah.
okay, yeah, this is such a massive like park that could spend a long time looking at this park. So, well, where's the train at? So let's see. All right, I'm gonna fast forward until the train gets here.